Anyway, the gas station, it kind of made a big commotion, asking about what's going on. Are these guys selling? Are you selling fentanyl or meth? Blah, blah. So afterwards, they saw the guy, a gas station guy. He was a fentanyl dealer. He was just, it was no customers were going to this gas station. It had been hijacked. So anyway, um, he goes inside, and then I go back to the transgender lady. I'm like, you'll be safer with me, ma'am. Can you maybe take a walk or something? So she was just walking, she left. And then so I'm like, all right, you're okay. And then so I went back, and so so the gas station guy, he's about 6'1", 210, 200, just solid, not big. But anyway, clearly he didn't eat enough Wheaties. But anyway, he was outside, and he's got his arms crossed. He's pissed, they're telling him all the shit I was saying. So I go inside, and I had a cups of water, and he denied me water. And so he goes in, he goes, hey, get out. So I'm just like, oh, well, actually, sir, I need water. He's like, there's no water. Get out. So then I said, well, actually, sir, I can't do that. My friend down the street needs water. He's dying. And then so he goes, you're who? I'm like, my friend. So I had been at the door at this part. I said, so I put the cups down. I said, I walked to the door. That's where he was coming in, and nobody else was there. So I said, you can fill the water up then I'll go. And then so he goes, I'm like, my friend is dying. And then so he looks, you're who? I'm like, my friend. He goes, you're who? I'm like, my friend. And then so I looked away from him, and I was kind of waiting. So he's like maybe 8 feet away, kind of like where that barrel is. So the idiot decides to try to throw a sidekick, but then all of a sudden, like, he went like, he threw this like arthritic sidekick. So all of a sudden, though, his right hand, he's facing me, was on my throat. This is my left. So anyway, so I stepped backwards, and then he's losing his balance. Or you could also just hold on to the arm, jump up, wrap your legs around their arm and neck, or kick them in the nose, shit like that if you want to. But I didn't need to do that, so I just backed up, and then, he lost balance. He comes at me like a noob with his arms out. So I walked out the door, and then when his arms came out, I locked his, because he had one of the doors locked. So he's just through the door, and I'm just, so I kind of let him go, and he's holding his arms inside, the door shut. So I opened the door, watch this, so I opened the door, and I went, but it was like 100 times louder, right? So he's just, and deeper. It was like, so he's just, like, what? He like just lost his nerve, dude. Like, his fighting spirit was sapped. So he tries to barge out the door, and then I smash the door on, and then he goes flying through like the door, not the door going like hitting somebody with the door. But so I always analyze. I'm like, how the fuck did he do that? How could he? Weird. Well, anyway, he did it again. 2, 3 each time. What? Each time he's losing strength. The weenie runs. He's on the ground crawling. He just disappears. So I notice this little shit guy coming up at me. He's spiky, weird, like murky, fentanyl eyes or something. So he comes up to me, and then I'm looking around, making sure no one's behind me. All that shit. So the door shuts. So the guy comes back. He has a mop bucket and a mop. The worker inside. So he's trying to open up the door. So I smack it on him, like fucking stay there. So he's looking at me on the ground, still on his knees like this. He's like, yeah, my friend, get him. And then, so the friend had these other 2 like junkies with him, and they're at his side, like Huckleberry Hound and whatever. Anyway, I'm fucking Doc Holliday. In this story, I am. Okay, so this was Daffy Duck, by the way. So anyway, the guy, I had always practiced this like kind of like a 1-inch punch, so it's just like kind of a, without being detected. Okay, it's from like the resting position, any position, Now, of course, I don't throw it like that, but maybe I'll show it one day. But it was fast, good. It was like the best shot, because we had stared off, and the little guy was just in my face. He wanted it to be a fist of duel of fists. Kind of like if you have blades, there's a thing where the right here is instant death if you put the blade through. It's just how it is. But anyway, that's kind of what he was doing with the fist. So first strike is going to win. So all of a sudden, it's just, and then he went black, and then his friends were like, oh, shit, and they carried him off. And then the guy in the store, he's just looking at me. And then so this weird guy came up to me. He's just like, dude, you just killed everybody. And so I'm just like, what are you talking about? I made sure like I didn't go in a psychotic rage. I'm like, I didn't kill anybody. I'm like, well, that guy, he's gonna wake up, you know. So I'm like, this was self-defense, the gas station dude, right? So I don't know if the guy was gonna wake up or not. I mean, maybe probably. I'm assuming it was just a punch. So anyway, I ran. And then the other lady was like, "Oh yeah, you need to go." So I'm like, "Okay." So like, "Oh, I'm in trouble, aren't I?" So I'm just like kind of, run. How should I? Like, look at that, cool, huh? So I'm trying to look good for cops, but at the same time, I'm like, cops never showed up. But somebody else did. It was like just a crazy car, and I'm laying behind a fence just like 150 feet off. If I kept running, I was guilty, and whoever, they probably would see me, shoot me, whatever. I don't know. But again, I'm laying down just like 150 feet behind the fence there from the store, and I'm thinking like, well, I'm dead. I'm sure there's no way I can't get out of this logically. These people would have seen me, 2-3 hours go by, sun's coming up, but right after I laid down and just kind of threw my shirt off, threw my shoes. That story is connected to that. Next day was the third day homeless. Okay, so third or fourth. Well, anyway, the fourth night was real rough. I'll talk about that some other time. But there was also a very inspiring man and the baddest dude I ever saw in my life. Yeah, and he gave me Powerade. I will always cherish that. Yeah. And he would, yeah. So I laid down, and then within like 10 seconds, I hear like,